not really an athlete, but at one point I was a tennis player. However, I am part of a team that doesn't chase a ball, but it chases a cure. A team that includes people like you. Just by being here, you are part of my team. And the team is so many other children like Scott and I who have battled this disease. It's an honor and privilege to be here tonight speaking to you. I only have 5 to 7 minutes to speak. Forgive me, I've lived on minutes for years and have always extended them. Tonight, I will probably do so again. I know that together we can be a team and make a difference in so many children's lives by providing what is needed for researching the most underfunded cancer of all, childhood cancer. I am living proof of what a team can do. Family, friends, communities, my doctors, and perfect strangers have been my teammates, have made what I needed happen. That's what teammates do for each other. I fought hard, and so did they. So together tonight, why don't we all commit to being a part of this team in honor of Scott Carter and make a difference for all the kids who have been or will be diagnosed with osteo. I am a survivor of osteo 4 times over, twice in bone and twice in my lung. Osteo is the same cancer that Scott had. I am considered a miracle by some of the best doctors in the country. The statistics say that due to my multiple relapses, my chances of survival were 5 to 10%. Thanks to my mother and aunt, who have been extremely proactive in finding these doctors, I am among the fortunate few to be alive. I have been treated at Children's in Atlanta, MD Anderson, Sloan Kettering, as well as Connecticut Children's. These doctors have told me that I inspire them to do what they do, save children. I hope that I can inspire you as well, because the funding that you make possible enables them to continue what they do best. I am now considered a survivor, but I felt like a victim at first. There were many days that I was lost and confused. I constantly asked myself, why me? Did I do something wrong? Could I have prevented this? Was I being punished? A child doesn't generally learn early in life that bad things happen. I soon learned that that is exactly how life works. I believe that you should know where I began so that you can understand how I've arrived at the point I'm at now. I soon moved past my depressive state of mind, and without my family and friends, it would not have been possible. We all tried to make the best of it, and I don't think I have ever laughed as much as I did during that period of my life. I was diagnosed with osteo in February 2006, days after my 14th birthday. Until that point in my life, I had had white blonde hair. It was my pride and joy. Yes, I was vain. And shaving off those tresses was one of the most difficult things I have ever had to do. As my locks fell to the floor, both my mom and I were in tears. I went through rounds of chemo until I had the surgery that would remove my tumor that June in New York City. This surgery took 25 hours over 2 days, and there was a great possibility that I wouldn't actually survive it. However, without this surgery, I would have died. I successfully made it through the surgery, but with some major complications. My tailbone, part of my pelvis, and the lower half of my spine were removed and replaced with titanium rods, screws, and bolts. I was bedbound for 6 weeks, and in that time became incredibly close with my doctors and nurses. To this day, they still receive our Christmas cards. I then spent 6 months in a wheelchair. I also resumed chemo and did 7 weeks of radiation. When I finally finished my treatment, my hair grew back, and as you can see, it grew back brown. Afterward, I started rigorous physical therapy to learn how to walk again. However, in August 2007, I found out that I had had a relapse in my lung, which is a frequent place for osteo to metastasize. I had the lower half of my right lung removed, only to find out that it had come back again in my pulmonary artery 2 months later. I had the rest of my right lung removed. Unfortunately, running a marathon was taken off my bucket list. So, yeah. If my cancer came back again in my left lung, there would be a high chance that I would not survive. We found an amazing doctor at MD Anderson who put me on an experimental treatment. Since then, I have not had a relapse in my lung. In 2008, the 2 titanium rods I had in my back broke. This required another trip to Manhattan and for me to have another surgery. After, I continued with my physical therapy and soon was able to walk without any assistance. This was a huge step in my life, as the first surgeon we ever went to see said the farthest, told me that I would never walk again once my tumor was removed. In the fall of 2008, I was able to go back to school for the first time since I had been diagnosed. I enjoyed a full year of high school as a junior. It was nice to feel normal again. However, this feeling did not last, as I was diagnosed with osteo for the 4th time. Only this time, it was in my tibia. I now had to go through the entire protocol again. My surgery was back in New York, and I now get to sport a titanium rod in part of my tibia and femur, as well as a full knee replacement. After the surgery, I got to enjoy the comfort of a wheelchair once more. During this time, we found that my femur had become weak and brittle, requiring me to get a metal plate to help support it. In 2011, I graduated high school. It was a year later than I was supposed to, but it was an achievement that I didn't think I would ever get to see. The rods in my back broke once more in 2012, so we had to visit New York City again, what seems like our second home. Can you imagine going to Manhattan multiple times and not being able to shop? I'm sure the women here can sympathize. My surgeon ordered new rods that were thicker and stronger, and he put 6 in my back. I restarted physical therapy again. A doctor that I had seen in New York told me that the farthest I could ever get in walking would be a cane. After multiple sessions of hard work, my physical therapist informed me that if I became strong enough, I would eventually be able to walk unassisted. It definitely wouldn't be the prettiest thing ever, but it would be wonderful to be able to walk without having to constantly rely on something. In January, I began college for the first time. Living in the dorms, I'm finally seeing some independence. I am studying to be an elementary school teacher. I can't wait to share my passion for mentoring and art with children and to create a culture of compassion for others and the disabled. I am excited to find my place in this world and to live the life I have fought so hard for. My journey will let me inspire others. I have survived. I am one of the fortunate ones. I am here, and there are so many who are not. Pediatric cancer is by far the most underfunded cancer of all. Children are our future, and I never want to see another child go through what I have endured. The government does very little to help fund research for childhood cancer. The statistics show less than 1% of all money donated to large cancer organizations go to childhood cancer research. Without organizations like the Scott Carter Foundation, there would be no progress. Doctors would not have the money they needed to research and find a cure. 1 classroom of children are diagnosed today. I believe that a cure will be found one day. There is very little awareness for osteosarcoma. Children are not active citizens. They can't vote. They don't pay taxes. And they don't have jobs that can help fund the economy. What people don't seem to realize, though, is that these children will one day do all these things, but only if they are able to survive. I do hope that by speaking to you tonight and sharing my story, that you will be inspired to go out into your lives and share it as well, and express the need for research to fight this horrible disease. Creating awareness is the key. You are the team players that can make a difference, and we will always need more teammates. This is what I ask of you. Please, help us win this battle. It has been a pleasure to be here tonight with you to share my story and inspire you to go out and make a difference for children like me who are fighting for their lives. Real quick, I would also like to thank my mother, who, without her, I would definitely not be here today. And I think she deserves a round of applause as well. That's it.